Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn with the Active Trend Traders. Welcome to the inaugural voyage of the Aftermarket Mondays webinar. This is going to be a fast and furious review of the markets. A couple of stocks that got my attention that I'm looking at. And so remember, all materials are for training purposes only. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. So the objective of Aftermarket Monday is basically to provide some timely, actionable intel at the beginning of each week after the close on Monday. Monday typically tend to be setup days for the rest of the week. And so I'm not in a real big hurry to trade on Monday. And I want to see how Monday settles out, because that oftentimes can set you up for the remaining portion of the week. What we'll do is we'll do a real quick market review, stocks and ETFs that are potentially setting up for the week and or just setting up longer term. I'm just not looking at this for weekly trades, but if something comes to my attention during my review, I want to share that with you guys. Again, the actual triggers and all that kind of stuff, the alerts and that kind of stuff will always go, of course, to premium active trend trading members. And then what else? Something may be happening that week. We want to highlight it so that everybody's aware of it. And I think we'll have a really, some fun time going through this. And then I found this quote. I was at a conference on Thursday, and it was kind of a cool conference. It was basically for the Hawaiian Island Ministries, and the guy who was given the presentation we were listening to was this Catholic priest, and he was talking about the rhythms of life and the rhythms of prayer and all that kind of stuff. And he made this comment. He says, "Have patience, stand back, and respect the rhythm." And as soon as I heard that, matter of fact, I sat there for almost a 7-hour presentation, and this was my big takeaway, right? And immediately I clicked in and go, that so applies to what is happening, happens in the market. Stand back, have patience, stand back, and respect the rhythm. So let's get into a quick market review, and then we'll come back to this page. So here we are with the S&Ps. S&P is doing this nice little triangle thing going on here. As you see, those of you who attended last Wednesday's training session on the red and green balls, on Friday we had a close below the green whole moving average, and we get a fulfillment down to the downside. Now, is the S&P going to continue to weaken? Clearly, the momentum indicators on it are looking kind of weak. The momentum, actual momentum indicator dropped below the zero line, pop back up to it, and is it going to roll back over and drop some more? We shall see. Keep an eye on, right now things are looking weaker than they are stronger. Keep an eye on what's going on over here on a weekly basis with the TSI pointing down. And again, over the last several weeks, the momentum has just been driving sideways. If we close where we're at this week, we will have a red candle below a red dot, which oftentimes is a sign that, hey, the upper momentum is moving out and stopping. And so we'll keep an eye on that. If we get daily basis, got to close below the 8. Does that mean we're going to, but we have a line of support right below that. We have a line of support below it. We have a line of resistance on top, thus making the symmetric triangle that we see right here. So prices can bounce in back and forth between those levels. If we open up down tomorrow, look for a retest here at this lower level. If we open up tomorrow, look for a retest against this upper level. But as long as it's inside that levels of support and resistance, it's not going anywhere big. Okay, NASDAQ continues to show that it is the stronger of all the indexes. However, this last little surge up on a daily basis, look how weak the momentum, the TSI is, and how weak the momentum is. The momentum has come back up into a resistance area, about 63, and we'll see if it turns over. TSI on a weekly basis and is still pointing up but kind of slowing its roll. And the momentum has begun to drop. But again, the drop we see so far, since this is the first of the week, we can't specifically say that things are going down from here. The Russell, different story. Okay, look at this fantastic bearish engulfing pattern on the Russell. And we have now got a lower swing high. We'll see if it basically reverts and drops down from here. Again, weekly basis, it's kind of a good thing that I left those other drawings on there. Weekly basis, TSI heading down. Momentum just hugging the zero line on a weekly chart. If one was to take this, I got a lot of questions over the weekend about, well, when do you get short the market and all kind of stuff. Well, this is a perfect example of something that could potentially be shortable, or buy a put against it heading down. And if I was looking at this, I would be looking at the IWM and probably the 138 put. I think it's got about a 50 delta on it. And so, but we get a nice red candle close below a green dot, a green ball. However, it is sitting right there at the 8-day moving average, and so we've got a nice range in here. Let's take a real quick look at the IWM. Okay, remember that bearish engulfing that we're talking about on the daily chart. As you'll see on a daily chart of the IWM, slightly different picture. Yeah, we still have the red candle below the green ball. And so that's an indication that, we could expect some, and we'll see if we get a sell-off from here. Prop up, pop down. But notice, it is not a bearish engulfing. So, tomorrow or the next day, I would be okay with, as long as we don't violate that high at the 138.51 level, I would be okay at looking at, potential, IWM, either IWM put or a long position in TNA. Would the IWM have an island? No, you wouldn't really consider that an island because there's no gap in there. Could this be an island? Not really, because it didn't, your tails, Dorothy, are still reaching into the price action of this day right here on March 15th. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. So let's take a look at the tails count. Yes, the tails count. Let's take a look at some of the stocks I'm looking at going into the rest of the week. I did a real quick review of some of the stocks that look interesting. No, not that one. There we go. Very interesting. NetEase, up strong on the IBD 50 list. We get a green close above a red dot, a red ball. We get a follow through today. However, we got right back up into resistance about the 296 level. I would look to go, if I was going to trade this, I would look for the bounce off the 8, or I would roll over here to an intraday chart. Clearly it has resistance up here at the 296 level, and it's got support down here at about the 291 level. And we'll just follow this. On the hourly chart, notice we get a green candle above the red and another green candle today above the red. Next, TCBI, which is, what is TCBI? I don't know. Texas Capital Bank. Now this is going to be kind of a slow mover, and the only reason I call this to everybody's attention is that momentum is extended on the daily chart. We're right back at a level of support at the 50. So it may blow past that and continue on down. That's good. that's okay. But what we want to do is basically just draw in a trend line across these highs. And so if that is violated, I'm going to keep this on my watch list. If we get an upswing on this and that trend line gets violated, that may be a trigger to get in. And we'll see how it reacts down here at support at about the 84 level up to the 50-day moving average. Again, not absolutely actionable, but it is pulling back very nicely. CFG. Again, one of those that has pulled back and actually dropped the 50, and so, but it's looking for a level of support. We've got the TSI really, moving down quickly. When I looked at it earlier, today's candle was actually a hammer, and now you can see it is not. CFG, CMA, similar type thing. Just watch it. We were pushing down into these lower levels. The TSI has not moved back up, but just keep that in mind right there. Keep that trend line in mind. If we do find support between where we're at right now and down here at about 70, which is the 50-day moving average, look for a potential bounce. SBGI? Again, I think this is another bank. Yeah, no, Sinclair Broadcasting. Okay, Sinclair Broadcasting, really nice hammer today. But again, just draw those lines in there and we'll see, and wait for the tick up to see if we push back up and through the area. But again, really nice pullbacks into levels of past support. Where's a stronger level of support? Down here about points of interest, 38.71. And lastly, Zion, which is a bank also, which is also a bank, Zion Bank. Kind of an ugly candle for today. And so as I was looking at these earlier, they looked a lot better. But this may be doing some pullbacks. And if the FAS gets going, that's what we'd be looking at. What are we doing with time-wise? And then I will throw out just a couple. TZA, if IWM melts, TZA will break back up. And here we are. Oh, that's a weekly chart there. Let me go back to an hourly. There we go. Hourly. Okay, green candle closing above a red ball. Could be an indication that we're, that may move back up. But look out, hit resistance right there at the 20-day moving average, just as IWM found support at that level. So if IWM does roll over, TZA would be a good option. Nugget may be rolling back up to move back up. If we take out the 20 tomorrow, that might be a good indication. The 20-day moving average, that may be a good indication that we're going to roll on up here to 10 or even higher as Nugget turns around. Dust is doing just the opposite. And last but not least, TSLA, Tesla. Okay, I was reading an article about Tesla, how they put out the extra shares and all that kind of stuff. Deutsche Bank came out with a price target on Tesla of 240, which is down here. And so notice we have on the daily chart, we had a close below a green ball on Friday. We went up and retested these highs today, which Tesla does that a lot, and then it sold off going into the end of the day. Will this completely roll over? We'll see. But it could be working on a higher swing low, which will give us an indication going to the downside. So that's it for that. We've got, okay, I've got 2 minutes to do a couple of stocks. And Eric's in the house right off the bat with Marvel. I'm going to go to the daily, weekly, Eric on that one. Okay. Yeah, I like it. Notice it's going to pay dividends here. It's already past earnings. We get a, on slightly above average, volume today. It's not a, really big fast mover, but we do get a trigger where, that could trigger us in there. If we get back up to the highs, you're talking about a 2.5% gain. And if it continues to roll up on this little uptrend, you can draw in a trend line across here. And as long as that trend line remains intact, expect it to move higher. From last year when it popped up and started its run, it's run a good 66%. So that's absolutely awesome. And last one, Baidu. Okay, is Baidu, Dorothy, we got a good move above the hole here. It's come back and retested today. And so in this scenario, what we're looking at, as long as that stays intact, you've got good support at the 175 level, and then also down here at these lower levels between 170, 172.50. And so I would be looking for, trying to, if I was going to trade Baidu, because it looks like it wants to turn around and move higher, because this could be considered a higher low here. It's retesting, so a higher low here. If it takes out that, then it could be back into a new uptrend. So that's it. I promise I keep it to 15 minutes. It's 16 minutes. But that's the essence. If you like the concept of the Aftermarket Mondays with a quick response, then we'll follow up with what we talked about, what we're covering for the week. We'll follow up with that on Friday. I'm going to reduce the size of Friday's webinar also, so that, one, I'm after providing folks with actionable intel. I will post this recording after it is edited, and please be kind. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Or just to say you like it. If you want to leave comments and all that kind of stuff, that's great. So with no further ado, have a great rest of the week. And if you are a premium member, you're going to love Wednesday night training. So aloha, everybody. God bless.